Suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu finally got his chance to tell his side of the story. And boy, did he make sure he would tell his side of the story. In this video, I'm going to show you the craziness that's going on around this and his testimony in the Ad Hoc Committee. And if you stay with me until my biblical reaction, you'll be thoroughly entertained at times. You may be angry at times, you may laugh at times, but we might as well enjoy it because we have inside information that South Africa will prosper. You ready? Good. Press like. Let's go. Minister Mchunu appears before the Ad Hoc Committee, and the first noteworthy thing he asks for is to give them the reasons why he disbanded the political killings task team.
Now, let me take this opportunity to outline reasons why we disbanded the task team. In fact, why I issued a letter of directives, the 3 directives, so that we don't take one aspect. For instance, I would respond to you that my predecessor can't be part of what I mean.
So anyway, he tried to say there was nothing wrong, it was constitutional, it was for the best of the country. I was worried about how the budget is not being spread out to all, and all sorts of stuff that we would have not listened to anyway because we want the real reasons. And so after giving his reasons for a long time, the chairperson got quiet and tried to get a break. And the weirdest thing came out of Mchunu's mouth.
Now, let me go on to another reason.
Suppose the chair, can we take a short break?
Yeah, I wanted to check how many more reasons are left because we want you to break.
Okay. Now,
how long will it take you to present all those reasons?
I'm sure if you give me another 30 minutes, taking delight that tomorrow I'm back here. And I want to explain to the chair, from the 6th of July, I'm wearing General Mkwanas. From the 6th of July, I'm smelling General Mkwanas. And this is the first opportunity that I'm getting to explain myself. And I'm going to do justice to that. And I'm pleading with you to give me the opportunity to do that, considering as well that he has gone to the commission for quite a long time, piling the accusations
on a point of order,
and so on. So I'm responding to those.
On a point of order.
Let me take
No, I don't think you explained properly to a minister. We're not leaving. We're asking how long will you take to respond to this question so we can break for comfort break and come back. You are still with us. We can be here until 2 in the morning. Don't worry. We're just asking for comfort break.
I would say thank you very much for that. I'm very, very comfortable. And I'm subject. I thought that you were saying go and see you want to break. So I'm obliged to your direction, to your directives.
Yeah. I wanted
to finish just the reason.
To say to you that
the reasons.
Because you have listed reasons.
Yes.
So I wanted to know how many reasons now are left for you to conclude that part.
Okay.
So that we can give you a comfort break.
Okay. I can do this in, say, 20 minutes to wrap up.
That is too much.
Yes.
So we must break now.
Okay.
And then come back after that 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you can continue.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You must not be worried. But look,
okay.
If that is what you are wearing or what you are smelling is combat clothes, I will advise you to wear Senzo Mchunu and not General Mkwanas.
Thank you.
Smell Mchunu and not Mkwanas. Honorable Skosan,
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just before your break, the remark from the minister that he's smelling, from the 6th, for me, he has started to smell like General Sibia. I thank you, Chair.
No, yeah, no, you are out of order because what the chair has said here is that Minister Mchunu is Minister Mchunu and General Mkhwanazi is General Mkhwanazi. It ends there. Yeah, Ariska in Chamai, divine.
Direct translation, let's not make it bleed. But I don't know what it means exactly. So someone in the comments who speaks Pedi will tell us. I think it means don't milk it too far. Okay. Now that was after an hour of reasons. They go for a break. He comes back and he gives more reasons for why he decided to do what he did. And after an hour, he mentions the magic word, immediately.
Now, the issue of I attached immediately. Now, the directive would still have been the directive even without immediately. But I added immediately because, as I indicate, I wanted to send a message to be understood that I would want the National Commissioner to have this in mind. But it was not like in a drill. In a drill, you say left, and the person you are commanding must really lift the left leg, as and when you say on time. Left, you say right, they must take right up. You shout another instruction. You turn left, they do this. Turn right, they do so. Aim, you aim, all of you. It's an instruction that. But the context of these instructions that come from a minister and these ones that came from are not the same as those in a drill. And it's always like that, not in the form of a drill. It wouldn't mean that when the National Commissioner receives the directive, he has to do this on the spot. That is why I gave a window. It was deliberate.
So then he went on to explain that saying disband the political killings task team immediately might not mean immediately. But this was all happening in a 3-hour monologue. So somebody got tired.
I didn't say immediately and within 1 hour, right? An immediate, an interim report. It didn't. It says on the 20th.
Okay, Minister, they are there.
Yeah, Chair. No, we wanted to be reminded of a question to which the minister is responding, because it must not appear as though he's addressing us. The evidence leader has been quiet for quite some time, and the minister has addressed various aspects of his evidence. He has addressed the reasons, he has addressed the constitutionality of his reasons, and the evidence leader has just kept quiet. So as he continues to ask the minister, we are following also. That is why we also peruse the documents. So he shouldn't address for a very long time without getting proper guidance in terms of the questions that must be posed to him. So which question is the minister answering?
Chair, I see nothing wrong with what the minister is doing.
Well, speaking of as if he has done something wrong, while he's giving all the reasons, here's the problem. The Madlanga Commission has already happened. And I'm sure what was in their mind is, I don't need these reasons, because I saw for myself.
Rafadi comments adversely on the PKTT in the media and shares social media. The analysis demonstrates that the requests for money and other favors are tied to Mr. Rafadi performing a media and propaganda function for Mr. Matlala. While the payments are not always linked to a request, in some instances a payment for a favor is made. Thereafter, documentation is exchanged and Mr. Rafadi proceeds to make public statements against the PKTT. On 3 January 2025, Mr. Rafadi shares a screenshot from social media about the disbandment of the PKTT. This appears to be a post by someone on social media. Police Minister #Senzo Mchunu has instructed Police Commissioner Fani Masemola, political killings police task team in KZN has also been disestablished. That is followed by a response by Mr. Madlanga in which he attaches as Annexure RF2 the letter to the National Commissioner. RF2, Chair, is the letter of 31 December 2024. So he sends the letter from the Minister to the National Commissioner, which is followed by a GIF by Mr. Rafadi, same as before, people dancing.
I think that's all that the parliamentarians could think about. Why did Kat Madlanga have your letter to the National Commissioner? But after all is said and done, his defense is, what I did was political intervention and not political interference. Get it?
That the National Political Task Team was not established by the National Commissioner. It's my belief. And I'm convinced it was the president who went there. And it was executive or political intervention. The directive came from a political setup via the intervention, and the human beings that are there were the executive, several ministers at the instance of the president. He was directed through a political intervention. Now, if a political intervention can establish a task team, why can't the same political intervention be allowed when it comes to disestablishing the political killings task team?
There we go. So that's his defense. And on all the things that you've heard everywhere, well, it's a straight up denial.
So it was for lawful reasons, not for unlawful reasons. And it didn't come from anyone else. It came from me. And I have capacity to think to that level. The decision was not for unlawful reasons. As a matter of fact, I have nothing to do with criminal syndicates myself. I've never had anything to do with them in my life. Not once. And not Amber. Not Amber. It has never happened. And it will never happen. Well, accusation is another when I'm accused, but I know I'm being investigated. But I know that at the same time, statements have been made in this comment that I'm no criminal. General Mkwana knows in his conscience that I'm not a criminal, that I have nothing to do with criminal syndicates. He knows. So it was not for criminal reasons.
Just in case you've forgotten the key word of everything today, it was the word immediately.
General Masemola seems to accept, therefore, my powers, not me personal minister, to issue the directive. His reservation, it would seem, was about how and when the directive had to be implemented, which I have no problem with because the how part was never in the directive. It was just this word, immediate, which he understood differently from what I understood. And I've given reasons that I didn't use immediate in the context of a drill.
Okay, and then he was asked about Brown Mogotsi.
Does it or would it concern you that Brown Mogotsi, whom I think you said you do know him?
Did I say?
Brown Mogotsi.
What did I say?
I said, you must correct me that you do know him or you know of him, Brown Mogotsi. Are you nodding yes?
Yes, I know him.
Yes, you know. Now,
Yes,
Oh, wait. Before we get into Brown Mogotsi, while this was happening, the police were getting ready to go and raid Brown Mogotsi's building.
We have arrived here just after 6 p.m. this evening. When we heard that there were some police officers who came here just after 5 p.m. and we understand that when they arrived here, they started closing, this business premise. There are some small businesses that are renting here, and we understand that this business premises belong to Brown Mogotsi, who was at the center of General Madlanga Commission's testimony at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. His name came up, many times during Madlanga Commission's testimony at the time. But what I can tell you at this stage, you can see that there are still some police officers who are still stationed here outside this business premises that we understand that belong to Brown Mogotsi. Earlier on, I spoke to one of them who told us that those police officers arrived here just after 5 p.m. This afternoon. And there was one of the ladies who was speaking to the police who are still stationed here earlier on. We understand that what she's saying, I think she's one of the ladies who's renting here, or her business is operating from this business premises. So we understand that what she said is that their cell phones were taken. But at this stage, we don't know what is this operation all about. What are the police looking for? Are they looking for Brown Mogotsi, or there's some information that they are looking for with regard to the allegations that have been, that have surfaced recently with regard to, Brown Mogotsi allegedly having classified information of the police, having access to police information, even though he's not even a police officer. So at this stage, we don't know what is this operation all about. We are still trying to gather more information with regard to this operation.
I'm just having this running stomach. My people have seen so many rifles. I don't know for what reason, but actually the police actually came to raid one of my small properties.
Maybe tell us more of exactly what's happening. What do you know of the raid that's currently unfolding?
I actually saw that on the media. There was a newspaper article where a name of a one colonel was mentioned to have obtained a search and seizure warrant against myself, Minister of Police Senzo Mchunu, Chief of Staff Nkabinde, Lieutenant General CB. Search warrant doesn't require members of the police to come in rifles, unless probably if one resists or does not cooperate. But from what I saw, because I'm not around there in Mahikeng, they came in numbers with a lot of rifles to seize whatever that they wanted to seize.
Brown, surely it means that they believe that you have a case to answer for. What do you say about that?
Remember, I had in one of the news channels. I spoke about the failure of General Mkonazi, General Kumalo, in their testimony about the failure to produce a Section 205, which literally links me and Kat and whoever. And after that interview, they went out running. They went to seize General Sibia's gadgets, and they went to the Chief of Staff. Now they wanted. Now clearly it shows that the evidence which General Mkonazi claims to have on the 6th of July is not there.
You must correct me that you do know him, or you know of him, Brown Mogotsi. You're nodding yes?
Yes, I know him.
Yes, you know. Now,
yes, I know him.
Now, my question is, would it bother you that you issued your directive, it appears at 5:20 on the 31st of December 2024, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, never mind Brown Mogotsi. Let's go back. Let's close with his letter. And our key word, immediately. You think you know what immediately means. Immediately does not mean immediately. Immediately means immediately.
I think most people, most reasonable people, would find it quite odd and curious, almost bizarre, that you send a letter of this importance on New Year's Eve,
oh yes,
at 5:20, and address it to a national commissioner is on leave. He's taken a break until the 14th of January. I think you know that. And he's not even in his office. There's an acting national commissioner in the office. And your instructions in the letter, or your, as you want to frame it, your directive is that this team be disestablished immediately. Clearly, physically, he can't do it because he's not in his office. He's on leave. So I want to put it to you that the issuing of this directive on New Year's Eve to a national commissioner who's on leave, it doesn't make sense. It's totally bizarre. And unless you can give us some other reason why you would have done so.
On the 31st of December, for police, it's a working day. They work on the 31st. There's no law.
Masimoto's not working. He's on leave.
Yes, he was on leave.
Yeah.
That is why the instruction said, send it to him. He is on leave. Send it to General Mosikidi, who is in office. That's not an offense. That's not breach of any law, because I wanted him to be aware. I was aware that he was on leave. And as far as I'm concerned, as a second reason, I sincerely and seriously wanted a situation where when we go back to work in January, we have a sense of, because I wanted a sense of achievement, something concrete that I could show to the Republic that, look, we have activated police properly and increased efficiencies. So to me, 31st was neither here nor there, and was not indicative of any sinister move or anything on my side. And the immediate that you spoke about in this context, to me, it was, as I explained, that this was not an immediate in the context of a drill. That is why there was an envisage, even written down, that will prepare an interim committee, an interim report.
But, Mr. Minister, with respect, that's not what the letter says. Your letter states clearly that the team must be disestablished immediately. Now,
in the context that I've explained.
Unless there's some other meaning to this word, immediately.
Yes, I've explained.
The English meaning of immediately means do it right now. Let's look at the letter. You write to the National Commissioner, and you say, I trust this correspondent finds you well in the festive season. In the past few months, towards the end of this year, 2024, I have made observations on a number of important aspects of the SAPS and police. My observation in this regard, as indicated above, is that further existence of this team is no longer required, nor is it adding any value to policing in South Africa. Now, if we pause there, if those are two reasons, it's no longer required, nor is it adding any value to policing in South Africa. That's not one of the reasons that you've given, that you spent quite a bit of time elaborating and expanding on. But these are the only two reasons that you give in this letter. It's no longer required, and it's also not adding any value to policing in South Africa. And then you say, I therefore direct that the political killings task team be disestablished immediately. Further, that a preliminary report in this regard be submitted to the Minister by the 20th of January. The final and closing report, not as you testified, Minister, it's not a provisional report, it's not a preliminary report. You say the final and closing report must be submitted to the Ministry Management Executive Committee meeting late January 2025, the date of which will be communicated as soon as possible. Now, I put it to you with respect, Minister, that if one reads this letter, it's very clear. You say, disestablish, discontinue this task team immediately, do it now. And the final report I'm expecting from you at the end of January. But I want a preliminary report on the 20th of January and the final report at this MANECO Management Executive Committee meeting late January. The instructions are clear. It's not only it's not only clear, but it also seems to me, upon reflection, totally unreasonable that you give the National Commissioner, who's on leave, you said you knew he was on leave until the 14th of January, that you must give you a preliminary report by the 20th and a final report by the end of January. Your comments.
Thank you, Evidence Leader. Now, I have explained, as I will do again, the word immediately. Now, it didn't mean, Senior Counsel, that, for instance, anybody driving the car must then stop and leave the car and go home because the political killings task team has now been closed. It didn't mean that. It didn't mean that if you're pursuing any case, because closing a case is something else, and as you see, it's not there. It didn't mean that. It didn't mean that.
That's how it went until everybody got tired and they said, let's get out of here. We've spoken about the word immediately and whether it means immediately or immediately. But you tell me at the bottom, does the word immediately mean immediately or immediately? What do you think it means? Let me hear in your comment below. You know what the Kwanazim bombshell did was bring reality to this country. We've lived in a country for too long that thought law and order wasn't so important because government is measured by all the goodies that the Marxist parties tell us government exists for. And unfortunately, they've been doing all this nonsense that is not defining of government, and we finally come to a place where people realize what it looks like really when you don't have a government. And finally, what I like right now is that at least the country is united to say, government number one must execute law and order. That's my biblical reaction. Let every soul be subject to governing authorities, for rulers are not a terror for good works, but to evil. The purpose of government is law and order. And do what is good, and you will have praise from the same. Why do I have a problem with every single economic policy the ANC has had? Is that it's not praise-based, incentive-based, but it's law and order-based when business people are not doing evil. They're selling products and services to other citizens and hiring people, developing people, giving people dignity, giving people experience. That's good. But Marxist governments don't give praise to those who do good. And therefore, and equally, they always fail at law and order, which is exactly what makes government government. Law and order, incentives and rewards. Law and order to evildoers, incentive and rewards to those who do good. Countries that understand this do not have an unemployment problem, do not have a crime problem, do not have an underdevelopment problem, do not have all the nonsense that we are dealing with. So I'm happy that at least we are united because we finally realize, we thought you were supposed to be doing law and order against business, against land and all this nonsense that Marxists go on. Well, this is where it leads to. It leads to where drug cartels are your policemen and your minister. That's why I always say no man can serve two masters, because either he'll love the one and hate the other, or he'll despise the one and honor the other. You cannot serve God and Karl Marx. Marx says the purpose of government is to capture the whole economy and bring equality. That's why the fascination with inequality in this country instead of mobility. Marx says, always feel sorry for the perpetrator. God says, always protect the victim. So, you can't serve both. If you continue with Marx, here is what will happen. Your president will always be a drug dealer murderer. Your policeman will always be a drug dealer. So, it's up to you. If you want to live in a safer country, let go of Marx's party. That's why they all have a spear in their logo, because the job is to stab you. So let's make history together. And I want you to go down and subscribe if you haven't, and press the all button. But I'm not saying do it immediately, but I'm just saying do it immediately. I'm not saying do it immediately like right now, but I want you to immediately go down and make sure you subscribe and press all. All right, let's make history together. But South Africa will prosper. Cheers.